Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and welcome back to another episode of Battlespot Trouble. This is the brand new series that I debuted 2 days ago. It's a series where I play some games on the Battlespot Doubles ladder, basically like Road to Rank but for Battlespot Doubles, and if you haven't seen the last 2 episodes of this, definitely check them out. But the reason why I'm doing this separate from Road to Rank is because, it's still the VGC 17 format in terms of competitive play, so I still might want to do some videos on that, but I also want to do a mini-series to help me learn the kind of Battlespot Doubles format a little bit better, just because it's the closest thing we'll have to VGC 18, which is upcoming with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and starting the new year. So yeah, hopefully you guys have checked out the last couple of episodes. They've been really fun. I'm learning a lot, honestly, because there are so many new Pokemon now that I haven't played against in a long time. So I've been making some mistakes here and there, but it's a learning process, and so far the team we've been using is really strong. Once again, this was built by a VGC player named Conan Wild, I believe, who is from Europe, and his Twitter handle is RazorVGC, so huge thank you to him for building this team. It is very, very fun to use, and it's definitely carried me through my game so far. I feel like my play hasn't been very good, but the team composition has allowed me to really have major advantages against my opponents thus far. So if you want to try this out, the QR code is linked in the description below, as well as the creator of the team. Go give him a follow on Twitter because he built a really cool team, and yeah, I'm excited to just play some more games. Currently just under the 1600s, and I definitely want to rotate teams here and there. Like, I'm not going to be doing this series for too long because Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon do come out, next month. So, we only have a couple weeks left until the games come out, which is actually pretty crazy to me just because, like, it hasn't really been on my radar. And the more I think about it, I'm like, wow, like, there's a new set of Pokemon games coming out. Obviously not as exciting as when it's, like, a new generation, but it still should be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. And, yeah, I'll do some fun content, obviously, with that as well. So, we are going to get into the first game of today's episode. As always, if you guys enjoy this new series, please especially show support by leaving a like in the video since it is newer. And I really want to do this pretty much for the next month on a daily basis, so if you guys support it, would be awesome. First opponent of the day is going to be Alan, rocking a scary team. Greninja, Aerodactyl, Gengar, Arcanine, Charizard, and the Serperior. So first thing I actually think is, okay, Aerodactyl has Tailwind Pressure. My opponent seemed totally could be a Pledge team where you have like Grass Pledge, Fire Pledge, and Water Pledge, and I actually don't 100% remember the mechanics of those either, just because it hasn't really been viable or relevant in competitive play since maybe 2014. So that should make this kind of interesting. I don't know though. Incineroar Zapdos once again seems really good just because it seems like I can pretty much guarantee a Tailwind up. Landorus can really blow through my opponent's team as well as Gardevoir, so I might just go with the same comp here. I don't like Feeny as much just because my opponent doesn't really have any terrains, and there's Gengar and Serperior, not to mention the Sun from Charizard. And Aegislash here definitely could be a decent call, but once again, so many Pokemon that hit it for super effective. Charizard, Gengar, Greninja, and the Arcanine. So I'm going to go with the same 4 that I went with a couple of games yesterday, and we'll see how it goes. Overall, I think this is, like Incineroar Zapdos is really cool, and I'm really excited to use Incineroar more. I didn't really try him out in VGC 17, but AV Incineroar is really cool. It's just so bulky. And you still hit for a lot of damage once you get the Tailwind up with Flare Blitz, and Darkest Lariat. So we see the Aerodactyl Gengar combination from my opponent, which I'm okay with. I feel like this is a relatively free fake out in an Aerodactyl and Tailwind. The only downside is if Gengar has Taunt, which it very likely could. So if I anticipate the Taunt, it might just be better to just fake out and Thunderbolt Aerodactyl. And I'm actually considering that just because of how big of a threat Aerodactyl is. I don't like the fact it can just Rock Slide everything for neutral or more damage. So I think I'm actually just going to fake out, and I'm actually going to Z-move in case it protects here. Yeah. Yeah, I do want to knock out Aerodactyl immediately here. No protect comes out, okay. So ideally Gengar taunts me. It just goes for a Sludge Bomb. Okay. No poison. Nice. So I didn't need a Z-move there, obviously, but I wanted a Z-move because I felt like, if it does protect, then I get a ton of free damage off against it to a point where I could protect my Zapdos and then Darkest Lariat it next turn for the knockout. So this is kind of overkill, but I will still take that. Unfortunately, though, Gengar did not go for Taunt, so had I Tailwinded, I would have been in quite the phenomenal position. Now it's going to be a lot harder for me to set up Tailwind, so even though this turn is okay, like, the best play would have been a fake out Tailwind, but the reason, once again, that I didn't do that is because if I faked out Aerodactyl and Gengar taunts me, I don't get my Tailwind up, and then Aerodactyl next turn also can Tailwind. Now I can still Tailwind, depending on what Pokemon comes in. We saw Sludge Bomb did under half. So my opponent needs to double up on Zapdos right now if my opponent wants to pick up the knockout there. Greninja coming in is really scary, though. Especially because I don't have speed control right now, which is a real big problem. I think I'm just going to Tailwind, and I actually want to Snarl here. It breaks the Focus Sash, and decreasing both special attacks is actually a big deal, given that I have the Gardevoir in the back. So I'm going to Tailwind and Snarl here. Protecting on Zapdos might have been better. Gengar switches out into Arcanine. Okay. I'll take that, definitely. Just because Gengar is faster. I'm kind of surprised to see that. I think that means Greninja Ice Beam Zapdos for the knockout. Yes, it does. So I could have protected Zapdos, and I kind of wish I did. I was just hoping my opponent would be baited for going into a water type attack, but that's fine. So not setting up Tailwind is obviously kind of bad, but it's not the end of the world right now for me. I actually could go for a Gardevoir Trick Room setup right now. Snarl actually does decent damage. I forget, actually, of course, Greninja has Protean, so its ability does change, or its typing does change. And that's Leftovers Arcanine. Okay, very interesting. I might actually try to set up Trick Room right now with Gardevoir. Let's see. Although, ooh, Greninja should get access to Gunk Shot as well. Greninja kind of wrecks my team the more I think about it. I do trace the Protean. Do I think he has Gunk Shot? That'd be really bad. Okay, you know what? I'll Flare Blitz protect this turn because Arcanine's really not going to do anything against me. Against Incineroar, at least. Okay. So I'm transforming into normal type. Oh, that's actually kind of interesting. Because of Protean. I could use that to my advantage. We just see a Dark Pulse. Okay, if Dark Pulse is coming out, that means it shouldn't have Gunk Shot. Which is good for me. Flare Blitz. Nice. Double up into Gardevoir. And Flare Blitz on my end comes out. Incineroar should be able to win against both the Arcanine and the Gengar as well, which is good for me. So now I gotta ask, like, how fast is that Arcanine? Because the Dark Pulse surely won't knock me out. Maybe I just sack Gardevoir? That's worth trading. It's totally worth trading Gardevoir for the Greninja, yeah. I don't see a reason not to just Flare Blitz and Mega Evolve and Psychic. Yeah, Greninja shouldn't even be able to knock me out. It actually switches out. I don't disagree with the switch there, just because I think Greninja is my opponent's most important Pokemon, so I actually kind of like that play. But I'll still take that. The reason why I think that's a good play is because I do have the Landers in the back, so had Greninja just gone down, Landers just wins the game. So it's actually, I do agree with that switch there. But, okay, Gardevoir's faster than Arcanine, that's good. I should double check the Gardevoir speed stat, I actually don't remember what it is. Flare Blitz comes out, it shouldn't knock out Gardevoir. Wow, I'd take that really easily, actually. And Flare Blitz should bring the opponent's Gengar down to half, at least under half. I am intimidated, but I'd say this does around 70% or so. A little bit more, actually, that was like more like 80, but yeah, I'll take that. So, that's good as well. Yeah, I don't remember this Gardevoir's EV spread. So that's something I should double check as well. Once again, if you want to try out this team, linked in the description below. I'm just going to Darkest Lariat Gengar here. Maybe it's better to just attack with both Pokemon. I'll protect. I have AV, so I don't see a reason not to protect Gardevoir here. The only reason would be is if Gengar protected to anticipate my protect, but it's clearly not going for that. Arcanine is actually the one opting for protect, which I'm totally okay with. It's not the Pokemon I'm concerned about right now. Oh, that is so cool! Destiny Bond! Uh-oh. Okay. That is really neat. So I'll get the knockout onto Gengar, but I'm going to lose my Incineroar, so we trade 1 for 1. Oh boy. As it curse bodies me. So now I bring in Landers, but the thing is, Greninja is in KO range. Rock Slide will knock out both my opponent's Pokemon right now. And a Flare Blitz from Arcanine won't knock out Gardevoir. Yeah, especially with the Intimidate. I don't actually think Flare Blitz and an Extreme Speed will knock me out, which is good for me. So I'm going to click the Rock Slide button. And I think Hyper Voicing is probably the correct call here with Gardevoir. I don't really see a reason not to. Yeah. Because, yeah, we saw how bulky this Gardevoir is. I'm going to Rock Slide. And just Hyper Voice. And if my opponent targets Gardevoir for whatever reason, I just win the game. Surely you have to target Landorus. Yep, there's the Ice Beam. But, like I said, I should be able to take a Flare Blitz and a potential Extreme Speed as well. This is coming down to the wire, though. It's really going to come down to these rolls. Because maybe Flare Blitz first time around has a low roll. But this Arcanine looks rather bulky given that it's running leftovers as well. So I don't get the knockout, unfortunately, with Hyper Voice. But, it's in KO range now from another one. And... Oh! Oh! Interesting. Morning Sun. I mean, that's fine, right? Because 2 attacks will still knock out Arcanine. Yeah. And if you keep Morning Sun, I just have the chance to continuously decrease the special defense with Psychic. If I get a single Spadef drop, then that's also over. So Arcanines protect Morning Sun and Flare Blitz. The protect is actually good, though, because you do get more recovery, and Psychic PP is getting stalled out. So I actually have to take that into consideration. Oh my gosh. Wow, Morning Sun Arcanine. I did not see that one coming. Yeah, I'm so used to, like, the Arcanines in VGC 17, where you're running, like, Will-O-Wisp, Flare Blitz, Snarl, Extreme Speed, Protect, and Bulky Berry. Oh, he Flare Blitz instead of Morning Sun. Oh, that's definitely not the right play. Yeah, that seals up the game for me. Unless I get burned here, or he crits an E-Speed. Yeah, even a crit E-Speed will knock me out. But what you do if you're my opponent's position is you stall between Morning Sun and Protect to try to stall out my Psychic PP. Although, I don't actually remember how much PP Morning Sun has, so maybe I win anyway, because my opponent doesn't have enough recovery. But, yeah, Flare Blitzing there, like, in the position that if I were my opponent, I would probably alternate between Morning Sun and Protect just to try to get as much recovery and stall out Gardevoir's PP as much as possible. And then I would have to call correctly, like, when does it protect, and when it does protect, I have to use a move that doesn't waste my Psychic PP, but now another Psychic should pick up the knockout. So this was actually really close. I thought I had the game pretty much wrapped up, but the Morning Sun made it a lot more difficult. I think my opponent just kind of threw his win condition away, though. Obviously, he could have been just saying, okay, you know what, I'm not going to be able to stall it out, I'm just going to go for the Flare Blitz and knockout. And I do think Morning Sun's PP is relatively low, but I still think you should alternate between Morning Sun and Protect, because, at that point, like, if you do that, then in the late game, you're going to be in the same position pretty much. I suppose then you're more susceptible to crits on my end, but my opponent going for the Flare Blitz, I was basically saying, okay, if I don't crit, then I lose the game right now and then. And with, like, PP stalling, you at least give yourself a better chance, especially if your opponent isn't max PP with, like, Psychic, or, just offensive attacks in general. And obviously, like, Hyper Voice isn't doing as much as Psychic does, so that could have been a lot more scary, honestly. And good game to my opponent. That was a tough one in general. And I kind of, mind game myself in the beginning of the game because I was like, oh, I'm just going to, not set up Tailwind. If I just faked out Tailwind turn 1, the game is pretty much over. Because my opponent's team is so offensive, where Zapdos and Incineroar pretty much blow through the entire team, not to mention with Landorus and Gardevoir in the back. But because I was really scared of that taunt from Gengar, I ended up not going for it, which ended up punishing me. And we have an exact mirror match for the second game today. I was bound to run into this eventually, given that this is one of the more popular teams on Battlespot Doubles currently. So, don't need to tell you guys the Pokemon, but let's think about this. Oh man, I have no idea how I'm going to approach this at all. Okay. My own Zapdos is tempting, like getting up Tailwind pressure would be nice. Zapdos Landorus, maybe? What if we just ended up both going Incineroar Zapdos? What's the best counter to that? My own Landorus plus Zapdos. Maybe Landorus Gardevoir, actually, now that I think about it. Because then I could just throw in Trick Room. I don't want Feeny in this, that's for sure. I actually kind of like Landorus Gardevoir the more I think about it. I definitely like Zapdos, and I'm tempted to bring Incineroar because of the Aegislash. It's like the only reason I want to bring it. But, like, if I were me, I want to bring Aegislash in this matchup, but I'm gonna bring Incineroar. Oh boy, this is gonna be tricky. Yeah. This is I don't really know how to approach this. Like, the reason why I don't want to go Incineroar Zapdos though is because, like, if my opponent does go that, then Landorus puts on so much pressure because the Zapdos doesn't have HP Ice. And, yeah, my opponent had the QR code function too, so there's, like, we're running literally the exact same things. But it's Landorus and Incineroar from my opponent's end. Alright, against my Landorus and Gardevoir. I would say this is in my favor. Get the Intimidate on both these physical type attackers. And Gardevoir puts on pressure immediately with Hyper Voice. The scary thing, it's like, what does Landorus want to do right now? You'd imagine it wants to switch out. Incineroar has Fake Out pressure. That's its biggest asset. Do I Trace Intimidate as well? Oh, that's so nice. That's why it has Trace. Yeah, so that's really, really, really good. I'm very happy about that one. I mean, so I could just EQ Rock Sliding is like a little bit more tempting. Maybe I want to switch into Zapdos, actually. Like, I could easily Earthquake Protect. What does my opponent do? You're at -2 right now with Landorus, right? Surely you U-turn or something. I kind of want to Earthquake and Hyper Voice here. That might seem weird, but like I feel like Incineroar definitely fakes out. Yeah, this is really tricky. I kind of also want to bring in Zapdos though, but I don't want to switch into a Rock Slide. Like, I like this positioning because I put on more pressure with damage right now. Maybe I'll just Rock Slide. You know what? I'll Rock Slide and Hyper Voice. Yeah. Just kind of spamming spread moves right now. That maybe wasn't the most optimal play. Maybe bringing Zapdos in was better. But this also punishes Landorus should just go for a U-turn. Okay, we do see a fake out into Landorus. Okay. And we do see a U-turn. Okay, yeah, so I think my opponent might have anticipated Gardevoir to protect. That's why I did want to protect. I was so close to protect Earthquaking too. So now I'm very glad I did not make that play. So that's good. I get a free Hyper Voice off here. It's not going to do too much, and I think Aegislash may come in as well. But if Aegislash comes in, then I just pressure with Ban Earthquake. So, yeah, I'm in a pretty good position. That lead matchup definitely worked out in my favor, fortunately. And that's why I didn't want to lead Incineroar. Like, I brought Incineroar specifically to deal with Aegislash, but leading it means that you're really vulnerable to Intimidate. So, good turn one for me, regardless of what's coming in here, but still, you know, obviously anyone's game. But conserving my Landorus is going to be important. It's actually Aegislash coming in here for my opponent. Okay. So, just a free Hyper Voice off here. We do know that Aegislash has Hidden Power Ice, so important to keep that in mind. And you can see how tanky Incineroar is. Wow, it takes that so well. I wonder if -2 Ban Earthquake still knocks out Aegislash. I don't really want to take that risk, to be honest. I think I'm going to switch out into Incineroar and protect Gardevoir. This seems by far like the safest play. I otherwise would have gambled and protected or just Earthquaked. Actually, you know what I kind of wish I did instead? I wish I just Earthquaked and Hyper Voice, because I think my opponent switches in Incineroar right now into Landorus. So let's see. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, Earthquake Hyper Voice would have worked out quite nicely for me. Would have picked up the double knockout. Yep, there's the stance change. I'm expecting HP Ice into my slot. Yep, there it is. Nice. And a Flare Blitz or maybe a Snarl, either way. But the Life Orb damage there is nice as well for me. There's a Snarl. Yeah. So I came close to Earthquake Hyper Voicing, but the downside there is if I crit myself. And I don't want to give my opponent free damage on a Gardevoir, which is why I opted not to go for that play. So this works out quite nicely. You'd imagine Incineroar maybe just stays in and snarls here, but my opponent's honestly in a really awkward position. I'm just going to Hyper Voice again with Gardevoir. And I think Aegislash definitely has to King Shield or switch out here, but like I'm still just going to... The target stat changes don't affect... Okay, so if my opponent King Shields, I'm still affected by it, but I'm pretty sure a Flare Blitz will still knock it out with Hyper Voice damage afterwards. Yeah, I'll just go for the Darkest Lariat and the Hyper Voice. I'm going to take the King Shield drop because I don't want to... I want to play it safe here, and Aegislash might just choose to attack. Incineroar actually switches out. Is that Landorus? Okay. It's a free Hyper Voice off against Landorus. Although now if... Yeah, so now it's an awkward position because Flare Blitz at -3 might not knock out Aegislash. I don't think it will. And now my opponent can... Oh, but the thing is now it's like if you want to Earthquake, you'd have to Earthquake yourself, which is advantageous for me. So I do get a free Hyper Voice off, but my opponent has maneuvered himself into definitely a better position than, you know, like a couple turns ago. And the reason why I opted just to attack into Aegislash is because while Protect was obvious... Wow, that Landorus is tanky. While King Shield is obvious, like, I can't afford not targeting it and just losing Gardevoir, because Gardevoir is just far too important here. So now I think if you're my opponent, maybe you Rock Slide? I think you Rock Slide, Hidden Power Ice, Incineroar. That's what I would do. So, Flare Blitz. I wonder if Flare Blitz Psychic still knocks out Aegislash. I'm gonna go for it. I think it might. Yep, there's Rock Slide. Okay, well now I need to not get flinched. That's the first thing. One of my Pokemon... Actually, if HP Ice goes into Incineroar... I do flinch. Oh, it's faster Aegislash too. Oh, wait, I should have known that. Yeah, that was a blunder on my end. HP Ice? Oh, just flash cannons. Okay, well, then I knock out the Aegis Slash if I don't flinch here. Please don't flinch. The one on Gardevoir didn't matter, but this one really does matter. Don't flinch. Don't flinch. Okay. But I should have known, obviously, that the Aegis Slash was faster, because we saw earlier how Aegis Slash outsped my opponent's Incineroar, so that was kind of bad. This is still really hard, though. But I think I bring in my own Landorus here. Yeah. The awkward thing is now I don't have Protect on either of these Pokemon, so yeah, I'm not too happy about how I play that. That last turn was really bad for me, because losing Gardevoir was... Like, Gardevoir's just too important in this matchup. And I thought, like... I knew, obviously, that it was slower. The Incineroar was slower as well. But I do at least get the Intimidate off against my opponent, so there's Gardevoir coming in from my opponent as well. Yeah. Okay. This is going to be a really close finish. But I like my opponent's position more than I like mine. Oh, that traces Intimidate, doesn't it? Oh, no. How the tables turn. I think I just Rock Slide. I can't Earthquake. Because then I don't have damage output against Landorus. Go for Rock Slide. And... if I get I would need a double flinch, actually. Yeah, my opponent played this well because my opponent conserved Gardevoir better than I did. And that was, like, the last turn was a key mistake. Mixing up the speed stats. I could U-turn, but I'm not sure that's worth it. Yeah, I'll just Rock Slide. I think I lose, actually. Yeah, that was so bad, losing Gardevoir like that. Let's see. Oh, Gardevoir protects. Okay, I don't mind that. Well, now I wish I Flare Blitz into the Landorus slot. I do win a Speed Tie as well. Another one might not. Ah, it's so close. Ooh, my Landorus avoids the Rock Slide too. That's fortunate. All right, that's some generous RNG right now. Oh, this is gonna be so close. So I bring in Zapdos now. Landorus is stuck Rock Sliding. It's intimidated, but it's banded. Check my speed stats real quick. It's 126. How fast is the Landorus? Oh, it's one set slower. That's a big deal. Gardevoir could Trick Room now. Would my opponent really Trick Room? Maybe I need a Z move and Rock Slide Gardevoir. Yeah, I'm actually really worried about Trick Room coming up now. I'm going to Gigavolt Havoc and Rock Slide. That honestly might not even knock out. Let's see. I don't think my Rock Slide will knock out Landorus either. Yeah, I really screwed up that one turn by losing my Gardevoir. Okay, so my Zapdos is the fastest thing on the field. So, I was thinking of Tailwinding, but I was like, wait, do I actually need Tailwind? I'm going to be faster anyway. It would just mean that I don't have to worry about Speed Ties against my opponent's Landorus, but this is going to be big. If Gigavolt Havoc plus Rock Slide knocks out Gardevoir, I just win the game, I think. But if not, then Trick Room might go up and I might just lose. And then it would come down to maybe some Speed Ties between Landorus's. Oh, that's going to be real close. I do win a Speed Tie as well, so... oh, both hang on. He didn't Trick Room! My opponent was just going for the win, I think, with Rock Slide. Wait, what? That was a throw, I think. I think if my opponent Trick Rooms... maybe you don't get the win. But, like, the flinch was unfortunate. I've definitely gotten lucky. Like, first of all, I think, like, RNG has kept me in this game because my opponent flinched on Landorus. That one didn't matter as much, but I've won the Speed Ties as well, and the Landorus miss. Like, the RNG has only been on my side, which is very fortunate. So, I mean, now it's like... I clicked the Heat Wave button, yeah, because I need to knock out Landorus. I just Heat Wave Rock Slide. Wow, this is crazy. I don't think I deserve this win. I think my opponent definitely played better than me, but I do miss the Landorus, so... let's see what happens. If my opponent outspeeds and flinches me, maybe. Wow, I've won every Speed Tie with Landorus. I feel guilty. This was not a clean game on my end whatsoever. And it was mainly because I sacked my Gardevoir too early on, and I didn't capitalize enough off my opponent's switches. So I'm not very happy about this one. I think my opponent honestly played better than me, and probably deserves the win. But yeah, in the end, Pokemon's Pokemon. Like, and Zapdos being faster as everything is really important as well. So I should, yeah. I'm just gonna Thunderbolt Rock Slide now. I could still lose with a timely miss because it's AV. So Incineroar tries to probably go for the knockout onto Landorus, hope that I miss. If I miss, I actually maybe do lose. Oh, this gets so interesting now. Okay. Yeah, I can't even feel sad about that. Now is Zapdos in KO range? That's the golden question. I don't think it is. But 2 Thunderbolts might not even knock out Incineroar. What a crazy game. So the thing is, do you Darkest Lariat or do you Flare Blitz? Oh, 2 T-Bolts should knock it out. Oh, he Snarls! That's brilliant! That might put me in KO range now. And Thunderbolt surely won't knock out the Incineroar. That was a really good play. But I don't know, I think the Zapdos is still tanky enough to survive. I love that Incineroar like roars while I attack. Oh, I get the what is this game? Okay. Can I survive? Honestly, I kind of want me to faint because I want my opponent to win this one. Really well played. That was a really fun game. We both get knocked out, but I lose due to the tiebreaker rule. Wow, what a crazy game. What the heck just happened? The paralysis, the miss, the survival, both of us fainting. Really good game to my opponent. Like, yeah, under VGC's tiebreakers, like even though we both lost our Pokemon, my opponent does win. And I'm not salty about that one just because my play could have been a lot cleaner. So the number one key mistake was just forgetting that Incineroar was slower than Aegislash, and losing Gardevoir like that was really bad. That was the biggest thing, and I didn't capitalize off my opening momentum nearly as well as I could have. One of my bigger regrets is not staying with Landorus and just Earthquaking and Hyper Voicing that turn, because had I just made that play that I really wanted to, I think I would have won. But I really thought Incineroar would switch out to Landorus there, and I felt like I just couldn't afford. And if I crit myself, that would be bad too, so I didn't want to take that risk. But that was a really fun game. A really crazy ending too, you know, like I won every speed tie with Landorus, but then, you know, my opponent's Landorus missed, and then I flinched, and then I got the paralysis. But even with all that, you know, the miss on Incineroar meant that my opponent could seal out the win. The Snarl was a really brilliant play too. I thought maybe Zapdos could hang on from a Flare Blitz, and that honestly probably was a damage roll in the end as well. I'll probably have to double check that, but when that was a game where like I felt like my opponent outplayed me, and so I'm not too sad about that loss, and I think there are a lot of good things to learn from that as well. Key thing being Gardevoir, you know, conservation there, and I should have just threaded Aegislash a little bit better. But really good game to my opponent, really well played, and a fun one, a mirror match in that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. As always, leave a like if you did, please, and I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, peace.